Yeah, I know it's been a minute. It's like that, you know. I have to take a break sometimes. The Unlonely Rain Dancer by Keith Tippett. Solo piano recordings made back in the 70s. Originally came out on vinyl. Discus Music has just reissued this for the first time in a while on their label Discus Music on CD only. Keith Tippett is a British jazz pianist who also has connections to rock and the Canterbury sound. Quite famously, because keys happen to be right here, I can make this quick reference. Keith Tippett is the pianist that you hear on Cat Food on side 2 of this. Very distinct, kind of a wild bit of piano on there. This is beautiful and it is deep. It's improvisation recorded at different times by Keith, apparently while he was on the road. There are parts of this that are absolutely fire, okay? Keith Tippett is the sort of player who reaches down deep and can get sparks flying. The thing that I find the most engaging about the album is the nature of it being improvisation. It sounds new. This is old. It doesn't sound old. And it shoots sparks at times. The piece that's playing in the background, Thank You God for My Wife and Children, has a bit of a Alice Coltrane sort of spiritual flowing thing to it. But there are several pieces on here where he really lets things go. It's a wonderful thing that Martin is doing by making this music available again digitally. I've had a couple folks say to me, well, we can't get any of these on vinyl. Well, Martin has decidedly made this a digital release label. I love vinyl, but at the same time, there are several records that I'm glad I have both the vinyl and the digital, so for clarity's sake. Okay. Something else I used to have on vinyl, but not anymore, with Keith Tippett is Overy Lodge. This was produced by Robert Fripp with the amazing percussionist Frank Perry. That's Frank Perry behind his drums there. It's kind of hard to see. But this is, again, another Keith Tippett record that I recommend you seek out. This is good stuff. It won't disappoint. You know, the real important thing I want to say about what's happening on Discus Music is it's a label for people who want to listen. It's a label for people it's for people who still listen to music. They sent me something a while back that I still need to return to. It didn't grab me, but I know that I have to work to get what it's presenting. You know, this last week I have been sitting around a lot watching documentaries when I'm not putting together my show for my Hall of Fame ceremony. I play, and then I have a couple of solo shows coming up. So when I haven't been working on exactly what I'm going to play and do, I've been watching documentaries, and I don't know, just the looking at the importance of art and expression throughout history. I've been enjoying it, you know, so I haven't been playing a lot of records and I haven't been online a whole lot. I've been kind of absorbing stuff, okay? Since I last made a video, Dave Newhouse sent me a copy of The Muffins Secret Signals 3. This is, I believe, the third and final part of him presenting his archives. These are like tapes of performances, jam sessions, little snippets of their lives that Dave's been working on presenting. And this is the third one. Now, part of the reason why it's taken me so long to make a video is because I haven't been listening much. I've been watching, and I've also been outside when I can. These last few days have been really rainy. The sun's out today, which is partially why I'm making the video. It brings me up. The cloudy days have really made me go inner. Just a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. So I have yet to really get into listening to this, although my first listen, I'm impressed with how much blowing by Dave Newhouse is on here. Dave is a player. He is. He's good. You can also, the thing is, I'm also familiar with him where, I'll say this, Dave, I can hear where you're playing and things are happening, then you're playing, and then there's a repetition looking for something else to happen. Now, I hope I'm not speaking too freely, but I think some of that playing may be why some of the tapes or the recordings were kept personal, because you can hear, I can do better than that, or okay, this part was good, then this part isn't so good. There's a bit of that going on with these sort of things, and I hear that on one track on here already, I don't know which one, where Dave is hot, and then it kind of cools off, and then it heats up again. Secret Signals, though, I can't recommend this band enough, the Muffins. Here's one that I have only listened to twice, and so I can recommend it, though. Now, and this is something else that I like receiving. I got a letter from a guy from Latvia. Oh my goodness, it's Louder Than Mice. It's not a typical place that I receive music from. I think it's Latvia. It's a guitar player with a drummer. Artas Novikovos. Electric guitars and bass. He got a hold of me and said he wanted to send me this music. 2 for Louder Than Mice. I've only listened to it a couple times. The main thing I can say is this is the kind of thing I like receiving. Of course, I wish I could get everything on vinyl. But this is untypical. The music was made, I would say it sounds like the music was made because it just needed this guy needed to make this music. It's inventive. It's all over the place. It's definitely not American or directly American influenced, although maybe it is, but it doesn't sound, I like that when I hear music where it's like, where I don't hear the obvious orientation right away of place and time. A lot of American and music, especially American music, I can just place it right away. This is American. That's partially why I've been interested in music from the world, because it's like, okay, where are we? I have to get back into this. The guy can play, and I come away from it. It's mainly instrumental. I think it's all instrumental. And he goes through several different styles here. I'm speaking too soon because I haven't really absorbed this, but I think that he would like to know whether or not I got the CD. I have listened to it initially, but I'm not familiar with it yet. I like it well enough to say that this is interesting. And folks who are listening for music, looking for music outside of the usual stuff, this is something, I can recommend this. Louder Than Mice. I don't see any contact information. He didn't send me a sheet at all. That's kind of cool about this too. It's like, well, I just need to do this. Louder Than Mice. Other than that, I have, like I said, not been listening much to records, so I don't really have the last record I spun that's sitting out is Chibo Motto Viva la Woman. This is a reissue of their first album. Came out in the 90s. Two Japanese women who relocated to New York and got involved in the New York scene. Yuka Honda was dating Sean Lennon for a while. That kind of helped them with notoriety a little bit, although they weren't trying for that. But those things help get your name out. I love this album. And I love, they're broken up again. I love Chiba Motto. They weren't a band about food. They had songs where they had food in the words, and some people said, they're the food band. They're not the food band. They're all kinds of stuff. Really good. Shout out to Oscar, who always says, thanks, D. And I'll end the video by saying what else has been on my mind. Am I okay? I'm as okay as I can be, like the rest of you who are awake and watching what's going on. The world is the way it's supposed to be, but it's in turmoil constantly. Every day is beautiful and you can live your life unencumbered, and at the same time we're connected to one another, and as a result of knowing what's going on around the world, that energy has a residual effect. And the world, for the most part, is really in chaos when it comes to who's in charge, who's minding the mint. Remember that movie from the 60s, The Old Timers, with Jerry Lewis? Who's setting the standard? Who's taking care of things? No one. No one is. And I'm just really, really aware of that when I take a look at what's going on. It doesn't bring a good feeling, and so I just retreat and disconnect so that I can enjoy my simple life. It's pointless for me to worry about retirement and money because I have none, which reminds me, Bob Burnside, you requested I burn one of my CDs for you and print a copy of the cover. Can't do it right now because I'm out of ink. And quite honestly, right now, I can't afford to buy any printer ink. Yeah, I do live that close to the bone. I don't care what people who don't know me might be thinking. And I say that because we all encounter this. People make assumptions about you and they don't know a goddamn thing. I can't make the CD right now, Bob. I have some gigs in June. I'll be making some money. But I'm real tight right now, so I can't make the CD and print. I can't print a cover. Okay? Just reminding me, if you happen to see this, that's why I haven't got it yet. But it'll happen as soon as I can do it. So that's a little bit what's on my mind besides music. It's pointless to really go political because that is completely off the chain, worthless. The thing I'll say is, please notice, if you haven't yet, how issues are talked about. People make money talking about stuff. People are making money making suppositions and, well, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And this is what's happening in so-called news. People are talking, but nothing is getting done. And people are getting paid good money just to talk. And we've gotten so used to it that it's like people don't notice, well, it's empty talk. Nothing is happening. Except those that have it are going to just have it until it's gone. They're not going to fix nothing. So that's why I just have been really having a real simple focus on just living and trying to have good days, because like everyone, I have problems that I can take care of. Then I have problems that are too big, and I just have to live with them and hope that something works out or it doesn't, It's, life. See, there's Keith in the background you can't hear it, but I can hear it. He's gotten intense. But I'll just say it like this. We all deserve the right to enjoy living somehow. Just because we don't have money and status, do we have to suffer? Because a lot of people do suffer just because they don't have. A lot of people have horrible lives because others have everything. So I just try not to think about that and just have good days. I'll be back soon, I think.